Hello everyone, in this video we are going to solve set number 4 from DILR section of CAT 2023 slot 3. First of all, I will suggest everyone to take the screenshot of the given data, try this set by yourself and come back to this explanation video. First of all, let's read the data carefully. There are 3 female students, there are 3 male students. The course has 2 evaluation components, project and test. The aggregate score is a weighted average of these 2 components, weights being added to 1. The weights are positive and they are added to 1. The projects are done in a groups of 2. Each group consists of a female and a male student. Both group members obtain the same score in the project. Both group members obtain the same score in the project. The following additional facts are given. So total there are 6 statements are there. 3 statements are in front of you, 3 statements are on the next slide. So before we move ahead, let's have a look at the questions. Which kind of questions are there? Question number 16, Renate score in project. What was the weight for the test component? The maximum aggregate score. Then question number 19, the Matthews score in test, and so on. So after looking at the question, what you come to know that you need to identify there are 6 students. We need to find out each student scored how much in test, how much in project, and what is the aggregate score. So now let's read the statement. The maximum and minimum, the minimum and maximum and the average of both project and test scores were identical, that is 40, 80 and 60 respectively. So first of all, let's understand this statement number 1. Over here there are 6 students are there. There are 2 types of marks. One is project marks and the another one is test marks. Total 6 students are there. So total 6 numbers are going to be here. And the minimum of project marks, the minimum of test marks is 40 and 40. The maximum of project marks or the maximum of test marks is 80 and 80. And over here the average is equal to 60 in both cases. Average is equal to 60 means sum is equal to 60 into 6, that is equal to 360. Over here also the sum is going to be 60 into 6, that is equal to 360. Over here we know one more thing, that in each group there are 2 students and both the students obtained same score in the project. So in the list of project marks, 40 will appear twice, so this is the same group. 80 will appear twice, this is the same group. And the remaining 2 numbers are supposed to be identical, and those 2 numbers are going to be what? Out of 360, subtract 40, 40, 80, 80, that is equal to 240. The remaining is 120. Divide this 120 into 2 parts, that is 60 and 60 over here. After this, so we're done with statement number 1. Statement number 2 says that the test score of the students are multiple of 10. 4 of them were identical and the remaining 2 are equal to the average test score. We know average test score is 60. So out of these 6 scores, the middle 2 scores are supposed to be 60 and 60. The remaining 4 scores are distinct. Out of the remaining 4 distinct score, 2 scores are 40 and 80. The remaining 2 scores should be what? Let's have a look at the remaining 2 scores. Let's say they are A and B. So over here the value of A plus B is supposed to be how much? Total sum is 360. From 360 we need to subtract 240, 120. So the minimum possible score is 40. So we cannot use 40 less than 40 number. We cannot use 40 also, because A and B cannot be equal to 40 and 80. So the only possibility over here is 50 and 70. the value of A is going to be 50 and the value of B is going to be 70 over here. So here we done with statement number 2. Statement number 3 says that Amla's score in the project was double that of Kohli in the same, and so on. So now from statement number 3 onwards, we have a data about the individual student. So over here we need to form a table. So let me show you how the table will look like. So in this table, the gender is their name, project, test, and this is weighted average, or that can be called as aggregate. So we done with first two statements. Statement number 3 says that Amla's score in the project is double that of Kohli. In project, one number is double of other number, so the only possibility is 80 and 40. So in the project, Amla will score 80, whereas Kohli will score 40. And how much R will score? Let's have a look at it. A, K and R, all three of them are female. Now it is given that total we are going to form 3 groups. Each group consists of 1 male and 1 female. And now the 2 members in each group, they are going to have same marks in project. So now can R have 80 marks in the project? No. In that case, 80 and 80, there will be a group of A and R, both are females. No. So R cannot have 80 marks in the project. Similarly, R cannot have 40 marks in the project. So from this we can conclude that R must have 60 marks in the project. Because we cannot form a group of A and R. We cannot form a group of K and R. The group of R should get formed with some another male. Now, after statement number 3, the next part of the statement number 3 is Kohli scored 20 marks more than Amla in test. In test, if Amla scored X, the Kohli is going to score X plus 20. Okay. 8 Amla had the highest aggregate score. Amla is going to have the highest aggregate score over here. So we done with statement number 3 over here. Statement number 4 is Shamlal scored second highest in the test. Second highest in the test is 70. Shamlal scored 70 marks in the test. He scored 2 more than Kohli but 2 less than Amla in the aggregate. If the aggregate score of Shamlal is A, then the aggregate score of Kohli will be A minus 2. And aggregate score of Amla will be A plus 2. Bimal scored second lowest in the test. Second lowest in the test is 50. So Bimal scored 50 in the test. And having the lowest aggregate, the aggregate is lowest over here. After that, Matthew scored more than Rini in the project. So in the project, there are 3 numbers are left, 80, 40 and 60. It is given that Matthew scored more than Rini in the project. Let's have a look at it. In the project, Matthew is going to score more than Rini. So if Matthew score 80, Rini is going to score 60 or 40. If Matthew scores 60, in that case, the Rini is going to score 40. So now we already know that Rini scored 60 means Matthew should score 80 marks over here. So from this what we can conclude that there is a group of A and M. Amla and Matthew will form a one group because their project marks are equal. Now the next part of the 6th statement is the Matthew scored less than her in the test. In the test, Matthew scored less than Rini. So what are the possibilities over here? In test, Matthew cannot score 50, Matthew cannot score 70. So if Matthew scores 60, Rini is going to score 70 or 80? No, 80. Rini is going to score 80 in this case. Then, If Matthew scores 60, Rini will score 80. If Matthew scores 50, in that case, the Rini is going to score 60 or 80. If Matthew score 40 in the test, but this is not possible. Matthew cannot score 50 in the test because B already scored 50 in the test. If Matthew score 40 in the test, Rini cannot score 50-70. Rini has to score 60 marks in the test. So it can be 60-80 combination, it can be 40-60 combination over here. So which combination is going to work, we'll have a look at it. So as of now, what I will do is I will delete these statements. Now there is no any need of these statements. Hold on. So let me rearrange the data over here. So now let's concentrate on this part, x and x plus 20 in the test. This x and x plus 20, what are all possibilities are there? Let's have a look at it. 40-60 in the test, or 50-70 is not possible because 50-70 is already taken, and 60-80. So over here the combination is going to be 40-60 or 60-80. So which combination will work over here? That we need to identify. Over here it is also given that the aggregate score of A is the highest. So what if I put 40 over here and 80 here and 80 here and 40 here? And the another possibility for the Matthew and R, M and R for the test, it is 60-80 or 40-60. Let's have a look at it. If R is 80, Matthew will become 40. If R is 60, Matthew will become, hold on. If R is 80, Matthew will become 60 here. And if R is 60, Matthew will become 40 over here. So we want to keep the aggregate of A highest. Okay. So for aggregate of A to be highest, M cannot score 60 in the test. In that case, M will score 80 and 60. And A will score 80 and 40. So automatically the aggregate score of M will become highest. We don't want that. So from this we can conclude that Matthew is going to score 80 and 40 in project and test respectively. Rini is going to score 60 and 60. Okay. And A is going to score 80 and 60. K is going to score 40 and 80. So this is how we can fix these numbers. Now, after this, so what I will do is let me rewrite this table again. After this, in the project marks, two numbers are remaining, 60 and 40. So B is going to score either 60 marks or 40 marks. S is going to score either 40 marks or 60 marks in the project. So now let's talk about weighted average. Let's take the weight for project is K and the weight for the test is 1 minus K. Because in the question it is given that the sum of weight for the project and test it is equal to 1. So now let's form an equation for A. The total weighted average or the aggregate score for A is going to be 80 into K plus 60 into 1 minus K is equal to A plus 2. And the aggregate score of K is going to be how much? Let's have a look at it. 40 into K plus 80 into 1 minus K is equal to A minus 2. So now what we will do is let's subtract these two equations. While subtraction we change the sign of second equation. So this is going to be 40 into k minus 20 into 1 minus k is equal to 4. So let's solve this. This is going to be how much? 10k minus 5 into 1 minus k is equal to 1. So the value of 10k minus 5 plus 5k is equal to 1. So the value of 15k is equal to 6. The value of k is going to be 0.4. So the weight for the project is going to be 0.4. And the weight for the test is going to be 0.6. So over here, now the aggregate score or weighted average for A is going to be how much? 80 into 0.4 plus 60 into 0.6, that is going to be how much? 32 plus 36, that is equal to 68, which is equal to A plus 2. So the value of A is equal to 66. So over here the aggregate is 68, over here the aggregate is 64, A minus 2. A minus 2 is equal to 64, correct. Over here the aggregate is going to be 66. So now let's talk about S. We don't know how many marks S is going to score in project. Let's say that is X. So X into 0.4 plus 0.6 into 70 is equal to 66. So let's solve this equation, everyone. So what we will come to know, X into 0.4 is equal to 66 minus 42, that is equal to how much? That is equal to 24. So the value of X is equal to 60 over here. So from this what we can conclude is S is going to score 60 marks in the project and B is going to score 40 marks in the project. So now let's find the aggregate marks of the remaining 3 people quickly, everyone. Hold on. For that, let me delete some of the calculation over here. The aggregate for R is going to be how much? 0.4 into 60 plus 0.6 into 60. That is nothing but 60 itself. The score of B is going to be 0.4 into 40 plus 0.6 into 50. That is equal to 24 plus 30. 24 plus 30, that is equal to 54, which is lowest. And let's talk about M now. That is going to be 0.4 into 80 plus 0.6 into 60 into 40. So this is equal to 32 plus 24, that is equal to 56. This is how we can fill this table. After this, let's go to the questions. Hold on. Question number 16, 17 and 18. Question number 16 is, the score of Rini in the project is how much? The answer is 60. The weight for the test component is 0.6, that is option A. And what was the maximum aggregate? Maximum aggregate is equal to 68. After this, the next 2 questions, let's have a look at it. The score of Matthew in the test is equal to 40. And which of the following pair of the students were part of the same project? Over here you can see that A and M are having same marks in project. It means they are a part of same project. K and B, they have same marks in project. So they should be a part of same team. And R and as they got same marks in project, it means they are a part of same group. So the answer of question number 20 is neither 1 nor 2. This is how we can solve this set.